Hello everyone, CRT released a video about Super Hornet Mark II.
It's not replacing the old Mark I. The old Mark I is still going to exist and it's going to be in the verse. So players who own the Mark I are going to keep their Mark I. This is an upgrade if you want to go that direction.
Correction, if you want to pay extra, more about this soon.
So the Super Hornet Mark II is the Super Hornet Mark I beefed up to take on all the stylings of the new Mark II Hornet.
I guess he wanted to say beefed up to be totally OP with 2 size 4 guns under the wings, plus 4 size 3 guns in turrets and extra missiles on the top turret.
It's got a remote turret and a lot of guns and packs a lot of firepower.
And here we have CRT's Super Hornet sales page, and look how big this cockpit is. You could have 6 people inside and still room to spare. Yes, CRT has their metrics, but maybe CRT should work on them. And here we are surprised, my price with my local tags. And there's an upgrade kit to upgrade from Super Hornet Mark I Heatseeker to Super Hornet Mark II Heatseeker for only $30. I own a Super Hornet Heatseeker. Super Hornet Heatseeker Mark II has a lot more firepower, but I still won't buy this upgrade kit. Why? Because I want to see some real progress first, especially in bug fixing and improving playability, something CRT is talking about to us for almost 7 years by now. And paints, those are very expensive. Most are just color swaps. Take original 4 colors, replace with 4 new colors, profit. And if you want to, you can buy a Hornet Mark II 9 paint pack for only $44. You can buy whole games, good games, for that kind of money. Chris, where are the hex codes? This year we can celebrate hex code colors 9 years later. Yeah! I made videos about Hornet, Super Hornet Heatseeker Mark II before, and yes, it's a total power creep. Hornets and Super Hornet Mark IIs have way too much firepower for their size. More firepower than most heavy fighters. CRT releases new shiny OP ships to make money, and someone else has to fix it, try to balance the new shiny ships. Usually, nerfs come directly after sales or a few months down the line. And many of CRT's nerfs make little sense, for example Ares Iron, Ares Inferno or Corsair, where 2 of the 4 front guns are now fired by the co-pilot with very little range of motion. Will there be a mandatory co-pilot to fire the turret guns in the Super Hornets? Why does the Super Hornet pilot have control over the turret guns, but the Gladiator, Warden, Cutlass pilot doesn't? Before 3.0, Gladiator and Cutlass pilots had control over the turret guns when no one was in the turret. The only thing I can think of to balance the Hornets Mark IIs would be to bring the wing guns back to size 3 gun mounts. 2 size 4 gun mounts on the wing guns plus up to 4 size 3 guns is way too much firepower for a medium fighter. Will there be a Saber Mark II, Gladius Mark II, Warden Mark II, Arrow Mark II, and then a Hornet Mark III, Super Hornet Mark III? Great! New ships for decades! I understand CRT needs money, not much of the $1 billion is left, but it's not our fault that Chris cannot manage Star Citizen. Chris is still prioritizing eye candy, fluff, time sinks and cool cinematic, and of course reworks of reworks of reworks of reworks, because having a plan, thinking things through, is for other people, but not for Chris. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye. Auf Wiedersehen.
But it's pretty cool. So yeah, so for what will be happening going forward is now we'll be able to roll out, different sort of, first of all the skins that we've already promised, but probably some new ones, and at some point we'll allow tools for people to be able to sort of do their own paint job.
So essentially the process kind of begins with we want to get these pre-configured schemes done. So you could, for example, go off and go, oh, you know what, I want a NASA themed kind of skin, or I want, a District 9 themed skin, or I want a pink Hello Kitty themed skin. And then essentially, we as artists create, basically they're material files. They're tiny in memory. They're so small that we can have hundreds of them if we want to, because they're all calling the same textures. That's what's done under the hood, okay? Once those material files are created and obviously named accordingly and sanity checked that the emblem is called emblem and the submaterial ID is called submaterial ID 1, 2 and 3, they have to be the same names. That's then handed to tech design to then kind of set that up with the loadout that they're putting together for that ship. Further forward, we want these kind of paint configurations to become hex codes. So if you're in like a guild of 20 players, and the clan leader said, all right, this is our paint scheme, there's going to be no like guessing work. Like, you get the hex code, you put it in there, and it automatically will say, oh, you know what, we've got matte black against yellow against pink, something crazy, and every ship in your fleet, you can put that hex code on and it will automatically go into that color configuration. So there's a lot of kind of cool things, and as artists we do this stuff all day every day, and we were just like, well, why wouldn't we give the end user this functionality? So that's the overall plan. There is a lot of kind of very things you have to be careful with when you're authoring the shaders for this stuff, so it can accommodate these options, but we're on top of that, and that's kind of, yeah, it's good.
Hey, you're still here. You might want to join me on Twitter. My Twitter account is Camural_SC.